Today on our series of Hangouts, we've got three absolutely fantastic photographers, all from Vega School of Photography. Thank you guys for joining us. We've got Hanro, Herman and Zelé, all busy making a name for themselves in the fashion, photography, lifestyle, documentarian photography world. Hanro, do you want to start telling us a little bit more about your style and where you are at the moment?
Yeah, I just picked up a camera one day and I started shooting. So a lot of my work is kind of that free roam, spontaneous street and documentary photography. It led to me actually studying photography and also then going up, having that, shooting bigger clients and fashion and so on, and really anything I can, or people pay me to shoot. Yeah.
Herman?
I work full-time for Media 24 as a photojournalist, so I basically shoot everything that goes into a newspaper. That's everything from sport events to news conferences, hard news, breaking news, court cases, and a little bit of magazine work on the side.
Great, cool. And Zelé?
Great. My focus is mainly fashion and portraiture because I love the human spirit, and I'd retouch and produce for another photographer on the side, and yeah.
Cool. So, I mean, the world of photography is, you get into it because it's a passion. Hanro, you said you kind of started off and then you went studying afterwards. Photography is a big passion for people. How do you marry your commercial work with the passion for photography and the freelance projects, or the passion projects that you have? How do you marry those two fields together?
It was a strange one for me because just kind of shooting out of my own, picking up a camera, going, leading into other possibilities and opportunities. For the first couple of years, it was all me. When I went to go study, that's when it kind of became somebody else told me, shoot this or shoot that, or you have a brief. That kind of shaped me into where I am today. To be honest, I tried juggling the personal stuff and the commercial stuff or the client base. But what I felt is it started merging too much into each other. So I think you got to keep a clear mind on where does your passion lie and where does your professionality lies.
Yeah. And I mean, you're a full-time commercial photographer for a big corporate. How do you marry those two worlds?
Well, I'm kind of lucky. I discovered my passion project, my passion work through what I do for the newspaper. I'm incredibly passionate about disabled sports and disabled people in general. And in my first month at the paper, we went out and did a story about a girl who was born without arms and legs. And when I took that picture, it just woke something up in me. Yeah. And I got involved in South African Paralympics. I was lucky enough to go over with the team to London for the Paralympics 2 years ago. And I try and do as much as possible on that. So for me, it's lucky I can always try and sell it to the paper as a news story. Yeah. So for me, it's easy to juggle the two, but also I was lucky to, I kind of discovered it through my day-to-day work. Yeah.
And Zelé, you have the photography work, but then also the retouching and the back end of photography almost.
I'm actually a trained graphic designer, and that's what I studied first. And photography was always something I did on the side as a passion. I wanted to shoot, I wanted to create images, and then that kind of superseded the design. Because I loved it, I carried on doing it, and I kind of turned down work that I wasn't passionate about with photography-wise because I could fill it in with design work. So I've always been shooting stuff, passion work, and suddenly clients are noticing my style and they hire me for that, for my style and my passion work. So they kind of are joined now.
Also, the more you do the work you love, the more work like that you get at the end of the day, right? And let's talk a little bit about challenges in the industry. What would you tell people in the industry, like, watch out for that, that's difficult? How did you find breaking into the industry? So let me start with you.
I think that the biggest challenge is we have quite a small market. There's a lot of small magazines, for me, like fashion-wise, there's a lot of small magazines, small designers, and it's hard to break into. There's not enough work, I feel, too much work, and there's a handful of photographers that have all of that, and they have their clients they shoot for this magazine constantly, and they always go back to them, and I think that's the most difficult part, is breaking in and proving yourself. So you just have to keep shooting and creating beautiful stuff and putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I think you have to accept the fact that your first year or two will be extremely slow. You have to do something else for money. I think most people would. I mean, I freelanced for more than a year and I had to do jobs on the side just to survive. I don't think a lot of people finish studying and then walk into a job or walk into clients that just pay big money. And I think you have to make peace with that, and just accept the fact that you're going to have to grind it out for the first couple of years.
So, I mean, that kind of leads into apprenticeship. The photography industry is known as like you start here and you work your way through the ladder, I'd say. Is apprenticeship important in photography? Is it an important role or kind of rite of passage? Did any of you go through that?
Yes.
Heads nodding all around, yeah?
Ish, yeah.
I think it's an important role because you suddenly realize how the industry works.
Yeah.
Something that a school can't teach you. You know, how to, simple stuff, admin, how to invoice, product orders, order numbers, all that small stuff, networking. And when you're assisting, you make relationships with people, hairstylists, makeup artists, models, and then you can start shooting books for them, for free, and then build your portfolio, their portfolio. And I think that's how you start building relationships with people that are at the same level, and you grow together and expand each other.
And so you've all studied at Vega. You spent your formative photography years there. How much does going to school help? Does it teach you the tricks? Does it accelerate your learning process? What did being at Vega help you in your career?
Yeah, I think it definitely accelerates the learning process, especially for people that don't know anything about photography starting off. You probably learn a lot more studying than just going out on your own. Or at least you won't make big mistakes. You're able to learn before. So
yeah.
I think with any tertiary education system, it's what you put in, and the effort you put in, how much time you put in, how much work you put in.
Yeah.
So, and I think Vega is great at recognizing effort and helping nourish that. And if you're interested and you're competitive and committed, you'll grow.
And it's almost an interesting thing if you look at some schools, you see all of the people that come out, they have the same style, they have the same, everything's shot in the same kind of frame or the same way, but you guys all have very different styles. How important is that unique style in your work? How important is that for you to differentiate yourself?
When I started out, I looked at a lot of different people's work, and I kind of like picked and chose and went like, what works for me? What do I like? How do I want things to look? And eventually that kind of molded itself into what I did, because for a very long time I just actually did what I wanted to do. There was no external pressure of like, okay, cool, but this is wrong with you creating this or doing that or whatever. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think personal style is very important. If you can establish your own style at school, at Vega or wherever you study, it'll definitely help you. I think clients pick you because of your personal style. If they want someone to shoot a bottle the same way 10 other people can do it, then why choose you? Yeah. So it's definitely important.
Guys, so what's next for you? Where are you going in the future? Where are you headed? Yeah.
I definitely want to try and do more stuff that actually means something for me. I feel very frustrated doing stuff that I don't really care about, and I have to do it because I have to pay the bills. And I would really like to do more personal projects, stuff that actually matters, and I feel passionate about it, definitely. So hopefully in future I can do more of those. It's also about building contacts and connecting to the right people, and that takes time. So yeah.
I am currently going back to film photography, building a darkroom. Going to shoot some medium format, self-develop everything. Cool. No photo retouching, exploring gender binaries, and the self and self-awareness and body. Without going against advertising and fashion. So doing complete juxtaposition of a lot of my commercial work and exploring my personal work as something a little bit more raw and real.
And for Hanro, what's up for you?
I'm after it because I'm really passionate about it, and that's what I want to keep doing, especially on a personal note, as you said. For me at the moment, that's still the hardest part. It's kind of having that, cool, I need to be doing these jobs, but I really want to be doing these jobs. But nobody, in the process of doing your own personal things, nobody's there next to you going, oh yeah, okay, cool, go. When you have clients, they go, okay, cool, brilliant, here's your money, and you go. At the end of it, like depending on how long your personal project or journey or how big that is, at the end of it, that's when your payoff comes through, and that's kind of what I will always strive for is that kind of payoff of doing whatever I really personally felt I needed to be doing.
Guys, that was fantastic chatting to you. And yeah, thank you very much.